Dust is in my eyes, my blood is on the ground. Quiet little chuckle and the shuffling of the boots of the coward that shot me down. He turns toward the sunrise and I hear him softly say, I guess you've met your macho man as the colors fade to gray.
Howdy, partners. Dust and Blood is a rabble-rousing, rootin'-tootin', bronco-bustin' podcast not suitable for the ears of young'uns. Take a gander at the content warnings and listen with care.
Welcome to Dust and Blood, a narrative play podcast set in the wild, weird fantasy West. I'm Blake, your GM, and our players are Keith Curtis as Jasper Graves, Corinne Hill as Myra Sting, Zach Parker as Maz Copernicus Pryor, and Gail Parker as Bonesaw. Last time on Dust and Blood, the gang schemed about how to fulfill the job and still help Carter. Myra and Maz made nice. At the railroad camp, Helen Blackburn and her gnoll enforcers tried to kidnap and torture Carter, forcing our heroes to flee, saving Avery as they ran away. We're going to go back in time just a little bit. About an hour after you guys made your escape, basically, you rode hard for a solid hour, making sure that you were well and far away from the encampment, making sure nobody was following you, from what you could tell, before you got a chance to kind of slow down. And that's where we're going to resume. It's late at night. You've been following the train track this entire time. Went through some tunnels, went over some ravines. How's everybody feeling after that last fight?
I'm about at 50%.
Yeah, a bit better.
Myra's exhausted. She's tired. Lost all her grit.
Bonesaw is bleeding from multiple wounds and looks on the edge of death. Or I guess...
Second death.
Yeah, like proper death. But he doesn't really seem to be paying attention to it because his eyes in the mask are still glowing red. And he's hunched over, breathing sort of heavily.
Bonesaw, you okay there? You need some extra healing juice, or...
Oh, I'm just fine. I'm just dandy, Myra. Why wouldn't I be?
Is that a yes? You'd like some healing potion?
I've never felt better. Just look how muscly I am. He flexes his overgrown, almost distended muscles.
Yeah, no, I noticed that. You took a lot of hits and you're bleeding. You're bleeding a lot.
Bonesaw looks down at himself, and then you can't see him blink surprisedly, but he kind of sits back a little bit. Oh, that might be a good idea.
Myra looks over at Maz and is like, is he good? Is he okay? Is this normal?
It's Bonesaw, you're asking me?
Okay, that's fair.
Well, I'm riding it might low in the saddle, and I think that I might use a little pick-me-up of a healing potion. At least it works as a healing potion for me. I wouldn't suggest anybody else but Bonesaw take it, although maybe, Bonesaw, you need it more than I do.
Oh, no, I have plenty, actually. Let me get the rest of you.
Roll bluff.
Oh, okay. I got a nat 1.
Everyone, you could see Bonesaw. Honestly, he looks like he just climbed out of the grave. That's how bad he looks. You would say that he's maybe at 10%.
Shit.
All right, if I don't see no cloud of dust on the horizon behind us, I say we call a stop right here and now. Get ourselves patched up a little bit before we go any further.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Or else we might not make it too much further.
I can live with that.
All right. Bonesaw starts pulling out bottles of things.
Carter pulls up to a stop next to you. He's been running pretty hard. Well, I think I owe you a bit of thanks for getting me out of there, Jasper. Don't think it would have been too good of a time for me if you hadn't been there with me.
Well, I'm not one to abandon anybody in great need, but we're square now. You don't owe me nothing, I don't owe you nothing.
Fair enough. I'm good with that. Hodges hops down off of the horse. Not the same horse that he had. He just grabbed one as y'all were on your way out.
Oh, that's horse thievery.
You see that the eye on the left side, the damaged eye, is swelling up. He probably wouldn't be able to see out of it. He got conked pretty heavily during that fight. He looks at all of you and says, if you hadn't taken my guns, I might have been able to actually do something about that woman.
How's your ears there, Avery?
What?
Oh, dang,
They didn't
they've
heal
fixed that up.
Shit.
Everybody roll sense motive.
Oh. Clever.
Bam!
Clever. A 12.
18.
Everybody except Myra. Yeah, he's still deaf. Myra, he responded to Jasper a little too quickly, and he wasn't looking at Jasper when he said it.
Myra kind of takes her horse behind him, gets real close up, and she goes, "Ah!" And she screams right behind him to scare him.
He swings around and tries to cold cock you as you yell. You manage to barely get out of the way, and it was a fang cracker of a smack that he was going for.
"You fucker!" And she smacks him on top of the head.
I'm gonna let it happen. And he says, "The hell is wrong with you sneaking up and scaring me like that? Do you
You're
not..."
fucking pretending to be deaf, you piece of shit! After all we did to help you get out of there, you piece of shit! Damn, Avery Hodges!
You know, they say there's a general lack of entertainment on the trail. I do not find that to jibe with reality.
She's not even doing damage. She's just like taking a flat palm of her hand and is just like smacking his shoulder just over and over and over again.
Hodges at one point catches her arm and just says, "Now listen here. All y'all have proven that I can't exactly trust you, that you're willing to turn on me. When your necks are on the line, thought it was better to make you all think."
You saw me help you. I basically put a bullet through that bitch's skull. Why don't you trust us now?
He looks between all of you and says, "A few things I found in my meal the other night. General lack of trust."
Bonesaw surges up and says, "Are you trying to pick a fight with me?"
Easy, Bones. We're not exactly the best cooks around.
Hodges just stands there stock still glaring at Bonesaw and says, "I know what I saw. We're going to say for right now we're even. You got me out of there, and you didn't have to. So we're square for that. But don't think that it buys you anything special."
Can I take a look at Carter's fetters? Are they still, like, in pieces around him, or are they just completely gone?
They're still shattered. Basically, if you took a pair of handcuffs and snapped them in the middle, so like the cuffs are still there, but the chain is broken and beaten.
In that case, I'm gonna pull my fiddle out and walk up to Carter and play a very, very slow, deep tune and cast Mending on the fetters.
Carter, as soon as you start to do this, backs away and says, "Hold there, partner. We don't know how many of those Blackburns are going to be behind us, and I am not going to be caught unawares with these fetters on me."
Well, that seems like it's gonna be your problem. We still don't trust you, and as long as you're out of these fetters, you can outrun every one of us.
Well, you know, it occurs to me that we ain't that far from perdition, certainly not a sleep away. And, yeah, Carter's pretty darn fast, but I do not think he can outrun a bullet.
Point taken. Should we take a vote on whether he gets fetters back or not?
Well, tell you what, why don't we all vote, but myself and Avery, we can just be counted out because we're going to cancel each other, I have this feeling.
Avery nods and says, "That's fair enough. Can't believe you took them off already and that he hasn't tried to escape."
Bones, Myra, your 2 cents?
Bones?
Sorry, out of character.
Yeah.
Bonesaw has like 8 intelligence right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to play that. Of course we can take them off. It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Alright then. Myra?
Yeah, sure. I guess he can't run a bullet. That's a good point. And if we run into any more unsavory characters, it's better if we have Carter able to run. He did save my neck.
Alright, I'm gonna pat Carter on his hide and say, looks like you keep your legs this time.
Thank you, little mouse.
Now don't go too far.
Not yet. Not time for that yet. You guys take a little bit of time to rest.
Yeah, I rolled a bunch of healing in chat. I did inflict serious and moderate wounds. I figure I can take the 20, Jasper can take the 19. I have wands to make up the difference also.
I'll take 19.
And then I did cure moderate wounds for 19, and I burned 2 cure light wounds for 11 and 6.
Myra, how are you looking right now?
Actually, I have no damage.
I will take all that healing then. That is fantastic.
Okay, all
you.
the healing for Maz.
Cool.
Long range weapons.
Are you guys thinking you're wanting to just rest long enough to catch your breaths and then move on, or are you thinking you're going to make camp? You do have the nice, easy track of the railroad that you know no trains are going to be on because it's still an empty spur. Sunset was probably like 2 hours ago at this point. You know that it would take probably most of the rest of the night to get to Perdition if you wanted to go through the night.
I think we should find ourselves a nice place, a hard pan to get off the road so as we don't leave much in the way of tracks. Get ourselves a good ways off the road, set up camp, and keep some watches.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I think I'll be up for a little while anyway. Adrenaline, you know.
You still got that? I don't know if I got anything liquid inside of me.
You could call it adrenaline, you could call it bloodlust. Whatever takes your fancy.
Call it adrenaline, call it bloodlust, whatever you want.
You guys go a little bit further, and once you've started getting out of the mountains and into the foothills, you find a small little game trail. It's a little rough on the wagon, but it's been about an hour and a half since the stop that you find this place. You get the wagon off, and it's this little area off to the side that'll let you rest for the next 8 hours.
Out of curiosity, how many additional horses did we pick up at the camp?
You have 2 extra horses, but you're down 1 horse that Avery lost, so you're net 1 horse.
Nice.
Oh, cool. I think I might sell you later for a little bit of cash.
What order do you guys want to do watches in?
I can go first. I'm still very awake.
She's still got some bloodlust, adrenaline.
I'll take the middle watch then.
Third watch?
My perception's pretty terrible. Is it, how many watches is it? There's a...
Mine's good.
Okay, guess I'll sleep then.
Bonesaw, give me a perception check. It's been 2.5 hours. Are you still jazzed?
About an hour later, his muscles will kind of go back down and his eyes will switch back to green and he'll just be really tired. Perception, 18.
An 18, you do not notice anything out of the ordinary. Next up, Jasper.
All right. Jasper rises by bending in the middle and then standing up.
So creepy.
Oh, there ain't nothing like sleeping on a bunch of rocks and dirt, except maybe getting shot.
Oh, you can still feel that. I sort of wondered how numb you were about the nether bits,
Well, it's getting my personal, I think.
I'm a doctor. I have to take care of these things for people.
Well, let's just say that is not an area that I am too terribly concerned about at this point in my life or afterlife. But I do thank you for your curiosity. How you feeling there, Bones?
Very tired, actually.
Yeah,
Fighting like that can take it out of me.
Yeah, you're looking like you've moved from the red into the green, so I think you're probably due for a little nap there. Go ahead and sit yourself down. I'll take a walk around the perimeter and then settle myself in for a watch.
Lovely. Good night.
Pleasant dreams, I guess.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Alrighty. Boom. 28.
Oh, fantastic. As you're sitting there, you actually hear the sound of a horse trotting up. You stand still for a minute as you look out. You're in a good position to be able to see the road, and you see a single gnoll that was on the horse. The horse is going slow. The gnoll is kind of almost looks slumped forward a little bit. And as you're watching, you see the gnoll slips off and falls off to the side of the horse. And the horse keeps going.
Interesting. All right, well, I'm going to pull my rifle out of its scabbard. And let's see, who's got third watch?
Me.
Okay. I'm going to wake Myra up early. Let's see. Sorry to wake you up early, but we have a bit of a situation out there, and I will describe what I have seen. Now, I can go out there and take a poke around, or you can, but I think that one of us should find out what's going on. I don't know if that fella rode himself to exhaustion, if he was shot, or what.
Let me, I'm gonna take a peek. I'm gonna get up on the wagon, take a peek. If I don't see anything in particular, then maybe we just leave it be.
We might want to collect that horse at the very least.
Okay, I don't know. I feel so freaked out about all of this. Just the heebie-jeebies.
All right, you stay here. You keep me covered. I know you're a dead eye.
All right, hold on. She gets up on the wagon.
Jasper, you approach this gnoll, and as you're going, it is very clear that this gnoll is dead. Like 100% dead. You're able to see it through the darkness. You notice as you're looking at it, he doesn't have any bullet wounds in him. However, sticking out of his left shoulder and sunk in deep, you see about 3 arrows. Just...
All right, I do have the Apache language and have received education from an Apache shaman. I don't know if that gives me enough cultural knowledge to see if this is a Native American arrow or if this is more of a mass-produced Western-style arrow, but I'd like to investigate.
You don't even have to make a roll. You absolutely recognize the entire style of this. And in fact, as you're investigating, you find wrapped incredibly tightly around the shaft of one of the arrows is a note.
All right. Now, can I read in the dark with dark vision?
I'm going to say no.
Well, God darn it, do I have safety matches?
I do have a fireball that I can carry.
Just a sec.
There's
here.
tinder twigs in the wagon if you want to go digging.
There you go.
It's a bit of a nightlight.
Yeah, I do not see matches here. I'll take the note. Do I recognize this gnoll as one of the ones that was threatening me but did not get blowed up?
It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's just one of the henchmen of Helen, but that's it.
All right, then. I will gather up the note. I'm going to go see if I can retrieve the horse. And if I can, I'll rope him to Smokey's saddle to lead him back to camp.
Now you have 2 horses.
Hey.
All right. Another mouth to feed. Hey, Myra, you got a light on you? That there gnoll was pin-cushioned by some Apaches.
I do have a flint and steel, and Myra goes and grabs a random piece of tinderwood from the wagon and lights it up.
Oh, look, this wagon goes up like crazy.
No. She knows her fire safety, and she is a good solid distance between the wagon. They have a fire extinguisher on standby.
I smell toast.
Nope. Go back to sleep, Maz.
If only she had not been using that gasoline-flavored paint there.
No, Myra would be dead.
All right.
Of all the dangerous things we ran into, Bonesaw would be the most dangerous.
Let's see if we can decipher what's going on here. And I'm going to unwrap the note and see if I can read it.
It is written in the Apache language. Check your notes, Mr. Jasper, because I just posted what the note says to you. You can read it out loud if you would like, or keep it to yourself.
Oh. Well, hell. This is for me. I gaze out at the gnoll. Wow. That was some expensive postage.
What? Jasper?
Yeah. It's actually from a friend of mine would like to meet up with me when we get to Perdition. Yeah. Nothing to do with what's going on here, but wow. That is, I suppose it was a neighborly thing to do to get rid of the person that was chasing us. But, okay.
She's gonna do a good old sense motive just for funsies.
I'll show you the note.
Oh,
See?
yeah.
Right here.
Well, I mean, I can't read it, so.
Yeah, well, I'll translate it for you so you know I'm not lying.
Is he lying? Or do I believe him, I think is the proper question. Do I believe him?
I think that you are getting the sense that Jasper is telling the truth, though how much of the truth may be unclear.
Do I recognize the signature, the name?
You do not.
Okay.
Roll either just a straight intelligence roll or a knowledge nobility or geography or history or local. Pretty much any of those will give you something for this.
Geography is a good roll for me.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll that.
All right, 15.
I will say, because of your knowledge, you do recognize this as a Western Apache name, and very likely it comes from the same general region that you have experienced before.
All right, then. I will fold the note carefully and tuck it into my book.
Excellent. Myra,
Yeah.
give me a perception check for your watch.
Oh, not one.
Nat 1. You don't notice anything in particular.
She's thinking about that note.
Yeah, she really wants to know what's in that note.
Wow, nat 1. Myra goes out, sits down on a puma, crosses her legs on a rattlesnake, leans back, lulled to sleep by the stealthy breathing of bandits.
Can't forget the cactus that she uses as a pillow.
It's so spiky.
Fantastic.
Can't find the softest spot of the spikes.
Myra, you do not notice anything at all. You actually doze off a little bit in the middle of the shift, though you wake up and are like, well, yeah, I'm awake. Wait. And with that, you all finish out the night. It is now kind of the pre-dawn hours as you begin to continue your ride towards Perdition. You notice that Carter is definitely making a point of putting himself as close to the front as he can as y'all are riding. Hodges is riding his horse close by, but not quite as far ahead. It's not necessarily a worrying distance ahead that they are, like, definitely enough that somebody could jump from the wagon to Carter if they needed to, but it's definitely a point of showing I'm ahead.
Jasper, there's something in the cart I've been meaning to show you.
Hold on, I'm writing a secret note to the GM.
What was that, Jasper?
You'll have to ask that GM fellow over there.
You all notice that Jasper is riding.
A new horse.
Smokey is nowhere to be seen.
Let me tell you, some interesting things happened during the night.
That Myra completely missed.
You seem to have acquired a horse.
Yeah, well, the feller what was using it didn't need it no more.
That's enough for me.
I will explain what happened, and I will not hold back on saying about the note or its contents. No more details than I gave Myra, because it's private communication. Sent by Gnoll Courier.
Could I show you that thing in the cart real quick?
Sure thing.
I think it might help with your problem. Bonesaw gets you in the cart and he says, it's not actually to do with your problem.
Really?
I just wanted to talk to you away from Avery. How smart is your horse, really?
Oh my
She's
god.
pretty darn smart. Well, I wouldn't say she can read a book or nothing, but she ain't got no book smarts. But for a horse, yeah, she's a regular genius.
Smart enough to talk if she wanted to.
Smart enough to talk if she wanted to. No, I don't think she's got the equipment for it.
But if she did have the equipment, do you think she could?
Well, I don't reckon I rightly know. I just know what she's trying to tell me most of the time. Let me see what her intelligence is.
3 or above is capable of human speech. Something has to be like 6 or 7 to be able to have any sort of like meaningful conversation.
Now, she's a genius for a horse, but horses are pretty much as dumb as daisies.
Well, I might be able to help with that. Are you terribly attached to her?
Yeah, I think so. She's been my sole companion on the trail for several years now. What are you getting at there, Bones?
Well, you see, the thing is, we didn't really get a chance to discuss how we're going to fake people out and help Carter and all of that. And I was just thinking if I could disguise your horse as Carter. I would do it myself, I swear, but I don't have the hindquarters for it.
Well, a couple of things there. First off, no. Second, I don't think she would be up to the conversation at all. Thirdly, I've pretty much told Carter that I sat there and I took some gnoll bites for that centaur, and we are square. If you guys want to continue on with the plan, that's fine. I ain't gonna say a word about it. But once we deliver him into perdition, I'm done. I'm done with him. I will testify that I think a lot of his actions are on behalf of. Dang it! Didn't want to bring that up. On behalf of a certain cursed item.
Oh, do say! Tell me more about that.
I think the less said about that, the better. I think I'm cogitating how I am going to present that under oath.
Well, all right. I suppose we'll have to come up with something else. Thank you for answering my questions.
Alrighty. Can't rightly say I've ever been asked such a thing before, but
Will we be seeing dear Smokey, who we all love, around?
Oh, I'm sure that Smokey will stick her head up again pretty soon.
Very well. Good to know.
Alrighty.
We get out of the cart and Bonesaw says, and that should help with any other, abscesses or things of that nature. So,
Sense motive.
Thank you.
Roll bluff.
Hey.
My attitude is not helping with this deception.
Yeah, give me that bluff there, Bonesaw. That is a nat 1. Everyone frickin' knows. Wow.
I think everybody caught the giant wink at the end.
Yeah.
Was visible through the mask.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Just as the sun has started to rise, you all see Perdition in the distance, the town that you have been tracking. And it's still a couple of miles out. But as you start to get closer, you see 3 figures approaching you on horseback. At least that's what it appears like from this distance. They are approaching at a good clip, and they look like they'll meet you when you guys are about half a mile outside of town.
Can we get a good look at him?
Yeah.
You can roll perception.
I'm gonna shade my eyes, pull my hat down over to cut out the sun glare, and take a peek.
I will say this is a very far distance.
25.
A 26 and 25, and a 17. Maz, from this distance, you can't really tell anything. You just see 3 vague-ish figures in the distance. Myra and Jasper, however, you are able to tell that, 1, they definitely are coming from town, and 2, it appears that actually only one of them is on horseback. One of them appears to be a centaur, and another one appears to be a massive bull with horns sticking up and just running alongside, arms pumping right next to the horse, keeping pace with them. A minotaur.
Can we tell at this distance if any of them is a kitsune?
You cannot tell that at this distance.
Myra calls out to Carter. Carter, them's your folk?
I have no idea. Just see some people on the horizon. Look mighty friendly, though. We should stop and say hey, don't you think?
Quit it.
Hey, Avery. I'm seeing, looks to be another centaur, a minotaur, and looks like, I can't tell, just an ordinary old humanoid type person riding a horse. Any of those folks sound familiar to you?
Avery cocks his head and says, "No, don't sound like any of Carter's folk as far as I know."
All right, well, that does put my mind at ease just a touch, but we should still take a mite caution here.
Yeah, Myra's gonna pull out her rifle and just have it resting on her lap while they're riding up.
Same.
It's about another 15-ish minutes before they finally arrive. And as they do, you are treated to quite a sight. You've actually stopped just in front of like a gate that has nice tall fence, and off in the distance some buildings. And above the fence it reads, "Society of Friends. All are welcome in the eyes of God." And these three finally approach. You get a look at the centaur first. This older-looking centaur has two very large bags on his haunches, wearing a very blue vest and a gray shirt with the sleeves rolled up, and slung back over his shoulder is a old model Springfield rifle. The Minotaur is surprisingly well-dressed and well-kept, despite the fact that literally was just running across the desert. As he comes to this rest, he takes a cane that he was carrying and leans on it a little bit heavily. He's breathing heavily, and he adjusts a pair of spectacles on his face.
I love him.
Refined gentleman.
I love how huge the bridge of the glasses has to be to fit over his snout.
And then finally, in the center, who you now see is a woman who has been riding up with these two. She's wearing kind of a light leather jacket, handkerchief. She has black hair rolling down, and attached to her chest, you see a silver star.
I like her.
She has a big, mean old shotgun that she has slung across her back as she looks at the group of you appraisingly. And as they all kind of settle in, coming to a stop, she leans over to the Minotaur and says, "Hey, Duke, these the ones we're talking about?" Big Minotaur, ooh, she's still on the horse. He's standing almost eye level with her, nods and says, "Yes, and this is where it is pointing." And he holds up this little gem in his hand. The woman looks over at the group of you, looks at Carter, looks at Hodges, and says, "Expecting you a few days ago. Qu'est-ce que c'est?" She speaks in Spanish.
Oh, gesundheit.
The sheriff, upon seeing a rival sheriff, will climb out of Maz's little breast pocket and puff his chest up a little bit as he sits on Maz's shoulder.
He's the sheriff! The sheriff, damn it!
Yes, we had a run-in with some fae and an interesting time on the road, but we're here now. Hooray! Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, we're a bit rougher than when we started out, that is for sure. My name's Jasper. This here's Bonesaw, Maz, Myra, Avery, and our cargo, Carter.
The sheriff nods and says, "Oh, we were expecting you a few days ago."
You would not believe the time we've been having.
Oh, you brought along a Pinkerton. I expect it definitely got a bit crazy. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Catalina, or Sheriff Leo's, if you're on my bad side. This here is Duke Van Horn. She points at the Minotaur, who gives you a gruff little nod. And then she points at the Centaur and says, "This is Terry Roberts. He's the one that you'll be talking to about any sort of mail, or if you need somebody shot from 500 yards out."
Oh, actually, about the mail. I'll see you later, sir.
Yes, of course. I can take care of that for you. The centaur appears to have a bit of a stutter as he speaks. Sheriff Catalina looks over all of you and says, "Well, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news for you folk. Fortunately, if you had been here yesterday, the train would have arrived right around the time that you're getting in. The bad news is that, as of right now, the train's not going to get in for another couple of hours because it's running late."
Well, that's fine. We've been guarding him for 6 days now. We can guard him a few more hours. We're very good at guarding. Can we actually roll sense motive on her comment about the Pinkertons? I just want to know if she likes them or not. I got a 25.
She has no real love lost for the Pinkerton. She doesn't seem to truck with the way that they do things. She does not seem to enjoy having them around.
Okay. That's good for us.
Well, now, it was my understanding that we were to deliver him to the law over here. You got yourself a fancy 10-star there. Do you not have accommodations?
She grumbles a little bit and says, fortunately, the last person that was in accommodations decided to have his gang use dynamite to blow him out of the jail.
Well, don't that sound all familiar then?
She has this completely exasperated look on her face, and Duke Van Horn just looks like he's on the verge of laughing. Catalina continues, our jail cell is only about 10 feet wide. They set this dynamite right against the wall. They used 12 sticks of dynamite. We don't have a jail cell anymore, and he is splattered all across my office wall.
I'm about to say, it doesn't sound like you have a prisoner anymore either.
It's been a tough week for me, if I can be completely honest with
Yeah,
you.
no shit.
Oh, well, I have something that can help with that. This isn't a dry county, is it?
A dry county?
God, I might shoot myself if it was a dry county.
Bonesaw fetches her a drink. It's a strong one.
She taps it on the ground and just single shot straight down.
This can only help us.
I like you. I like you a lot.
Now, well, yes, everybody who gives me a drink earns a little bit of favor with me.
Catalina is Bonesaw's new best friend.
Hey!
Well, not like a toothbrush stealing best friend.
When's the last time you said you liked me, Moss?
Don't recall those words ever leaving my mouth.
Catalina laughs a little and says, if you go and talk with Miss Gray at Gray's Inn, she'll be able to get you set up with some accommodations until the train arrives. You can then get him on the train. It might be a little while until it gets here. At that point, your job will end, the train will take him, and he'll go to trial.
All right, then. I do not recall the exact wording of the agreement we made, so I'm willing to abide by that.
Hodges nods and says, I'm riding with him all the way, but this is the end spot for you. And Sheriff Catalina says, Hodges, some of your compatriots in town are going to want to talk to you. I'm sure that they're going to have a long and lengthy talk with you, and so you don't have to deal with this prisoner. Avery looks pretty perturbed by this, but he's not saying anything. You notice he's glaring pretty heavily at that star on her chest. She turns to her two companions and says, Duke, Terry, why don't you take Hodges forward a little bit and take Carter some distance? I want to talk with these folk here.
Duke steps forward. Like I said, he is massive, and he just leans forward, grabs the reins of Hodges' horse, and just starts leading the horse forward.
Don't worry, Avery. Always trust your centaur to the woman with the star.
He says, all right, boss, time to get you moving along. Pulls on Hodges, and Hodges is protesting.
Bye, Avery!
But it's a big fucking minotaur, not much arguing with that. And Terry leads Carter, the gun held at the ready.
Good riddance.
She steps forward and looks over all of you and just says, you all did a hell of a job getting him up here.
You don't know the half of it.
You're right, I don't. But we've seen Carter come through here before. We've seen Hodges come through here before. And frankly, the fact that you got them here, without one or both of them dying or killing any of you, I assume he didn't kill any of you. Oh, and she looks over at the extra horse that you have, and she says, I'm sorry about that.
Actually, there's several long tales to be told. But first of all, thank you very much for taking Hodges off our hand. That's feel like the lion had the thorn taken out of his paw. That's a mite relief.
She nods and says, I won't be able to keep them busy for long, but maybe long enough to let you all relax for a few hours. That's what I wanted to talk to you all about.
The other night, about a night or two back, we had a report of a kitsune in the area. Don't know if it's for sure Carter's bow, but...
His bow? Are they, together?
It's just a rumor. But she kind of rubs the back of her neck and says, look, I ain't in this for any sort of reward. The squabbles that the railroad, the Pinkertons have with Carter, that's their business, and I just want to keep my town safe.
That is understood.
If it comes to some sort of fight with Carter and his folk, just make sure that people don't get hurt. Can I count on y'all for that?
We'll, do our best.
And if they do get hurt, we can help patch them up. I am actually a patent medicine man.
We'll do our best to make sure that any innocents stay out of any potential line of fire. And Sheriff, when you got a moment, I need a private word or three with you.
Absolutely. We'll talk in a little bit. Oh, and she kind of ruffles around in her pockets, considers, pulls out a piece of paper, tosses it on the ground, pulls out a bunch of bullets and just kind of repockets them, pulls out a dagger that you're not sure where it came from, puts it back in, and then finally pulls out a map and hands it over and says, for you to be able to find your way around town, you're going to be coming in from the south side.
A map of perdition.
Hey.
That's a big
Oh, I love a good map. Blake, did you make this?
Yes, I did.
Oh, look at that.
Very cool map.
It's lovely.
Very nice.
Maz, you bend over to talk to the sheriff. What exactly are you asking?
You think we got enough distance between us and the Carter's fellas?
With that question, the sheriff looks at you, hops to the side, hops to another side. Whoa. Whoa.
Very interesting. Alright, hop back in your little hole there. We got some work to do.
You all are able to catch up to Carter and Avery as they're making their way along. Hodges is protesting, and Duke is just saying, would you please just shut up? Barely got any sleep last night, and now I have to deal with yet another wailing child.
Man, I shouldn't feel bad for Hodges, but I do. He's been through some shit, and no one's taking him seriously. He's, like, trying to get attention, and people are like, just shut up. Sit down and shut up.
Handsome is as handsome does. He ain't been too handsome.
No, he ain't.
Are you guys going to go straight to the inn as suggested, or do you guys want to explore a little bit?
Actually, I did want to have a quick word with the sheriff.
Oh, yes.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jasper. He's right here.
The local sheriff. Not the sheriff with the capital S.
I'll be seeing you later then. Hey, Jasper, keep your rifle close.
Always.
She rides up and says, what can I do for you, amigo?
Well, got a couple of things on my mind that I think need to be passed along here, or I need to ask your advice upon. We confiscated a weapon during this trip that had originally belonged to the prisoner, then belonged to Avery, and kind of passed through a couple of hands. And I am 100% certain that this gun is cursed. It has some sort of magical spirit inside of it, or something that... anyway, I saw several people take it up, and immediately their whole demeanor changed, became right covetous of the weapon, and more than a little bloodthirsty. I have possession of the weapon. I have not touched it myself, because I have more sense than a box of bricks. But I would dearly love to get rid of the thing. And I am willing to sign a sworn statement that I believe that it is highly likely that this weapon did have some effect upon whatever actions the prisoner may have taken before his apprehension.
She nods and says, I can pass that along, and though, being completely honest, I don't know how much good it'll do. I know that the railroad is spoiling for blood, and hopefully we can get them to take a little bit of mercy on the man.
Well, I sure as shootin' hope so.
If you're looking for someone to knock loose some of those nailed-in screws, you might talk to Caden at the Arcadium Industries, though I doubt he would be able to do anything because of his contract. You could potentially talk to Mother Beatrice at the Shrine of St. Caxus in town. We'll also say, if you talk to Cameron over at Three Clops Theater, she is quite skilled with her voice. She might be able to do something for you.
I'm a mite confused as to what services you think I'm in need of. She has some sort of experience with cursed weapons?
More people who are under the influence of such things.
Gotcha. Well, I ain't under the influence myself, and I do know that there's a couple of my party members would touch the weapon that I ain't too keen on letting them have their hands back on it. I'd like to get rid of it, but it needs to go to some place where they know how to deal with such things, or we're just going to have more violence than you probably want in this here town.
The Mother Beatrice may be your best option to get rid of the weapon without it being...
Alrighty.
Without it falling into any other hands, though... Be prepared. I'm certain that she's willing to give you quite a long lecture about your sins for falling under its influence, even though you yourself are not under its influence.
Well, heck yes, I'm pure as driven snow myself.
Oh, so am I.
And I give her a little chuckle and a wink.
I've never done a bad thing in my life. That's why I'm a sheriff, obviously. In this small town and far away from any population centers.
Yeah, well...
You take care now. Jasper, right?
Yeah, Jasper, and one more thing. Do you know a fella goes by the name of Old Joe? Would be a local hereabouts, maybe?
She looks a bit confused and says, Old Joe? We have a, old...
There's Old Joe Kenobi.
I was this close away from saying it, and you beat me to it. So close.
Old, Patchy Man lived in this area since, frankly, before any of us settled in the area. He's a bit in your situation of life, if you'll pardon the expression.
I think I catch your drift. And that sounds like the fellow that I might need to talk to.
Goes by the name of Silent Joe. He runs the grocery store.
Silent Joe. I will check that out. Thank you very much, Sheriff. Thank you for both of them there leads, and I hope you have a quiet day.
I hope so too, and just like I expressed earlier, just get him out of my town as soon as possible, please.
Nothing would please me more.
These folk don't deserve to have to deal with outlaws and gunslingers.
Well, thank you kindly, ma'am.
You make your way into Perdition, and the town itself is about as bustling as you would expect for a smallish town. You're a good day's ride away from any of the bigger cities, so it has its own feel about it, but it is not overly forbearing or anything. It's just quaint little quiet town. You're pretty sure that you're probably the biggest excitement that's come through in a little while.
Maz will not be going to the inn. He has some stuff around town he wants to do.
We'll see you in the bit. Just going to park my cart near the inn, probably. I think that's where the best crowd will be. Don't you think, Mozzie?
I think you might be right. Be on guard for loud sounds. Don't worry about it, but, you'll know it when you hear it.
Alright. Sounds good. Toodaloo.
Take care.
I don't even want to know.
You all, Carter, Avery, Duke, and Terry make your way to the inn. You arrive at a very well-maintained 3-story inn. The sign hanging over it says, Gray's Hotel and Bordello. At the inn, Duke kind of gives you all a little bit of a salute and starts walking off down the street. You see he's leaning heavily on this cane. To be clear, this is not just a spindly little thing. Looks like somebody took half a tree and cut it out. It's about as thick around as your forearm. Terry brushes some of the dust off of his blue vest and turns around and starts trotting away back towards the mail post. As you all step inside, you see a woman in a very nice green dress, an elf actually, with bright blue eyes. She is sitting kind of near the front desk as you enter, and she says, "Oh, welcome. Welcome to Gray's Hotel Bordello. And she stops as soon as she sees Carter. She starts reaching under her desk.
Whoa! He's in custody. We got him. We're good. We're good.
You bring that brute into my hotel after what he has done.
We're not exactly thrilled about being with him either, but trust me, he's not armed. You know, we have a watch on him, so don't worry.
I'm gonna give Carter a what did you do look.
3, 4 of her girls, and I might have run out without paying a few times.
Carter!
I do not want to consider the geometry of this.
Gray she is grinding her teeth and says, "Keep him under lock and key. I don't want to have yet another destroyed room that I have to clean up."
We'll take full responsibility, don't worry.
She takes a deep breath in and just says, "Welcome to the hotel. I'm Kay. What room would you like? We have small rooms on this floor. We can get some large rooms. The presidential suite is on the top floor. If you'd like some companionship, except for him, I can have somebody sent to you."
I think...
Oh, thank you. those days are long past.
Let's do at least one room towards the top so we can put Carter up there. So if he tries to get out, it'll be pretty obvious if he's going down the stairs or trying to go out the window.
Right, I'll make sure that is done right away. She leads you upstairs.
Is there a place I can park my cart that no one's going to get into it? Also, do you have a good crowd for shows here?
You could probably park it around back if you really want. If you want somebody to take care of it long term, you could talk to Stella over at Stella's Wagons. She's our local Wainwright, a whiz.
Thank you, that's very useful.
Yes, of course.
I think Bonesaw will leave Gorder with the wagon, just to keep an eye on it for now.
Moz, what are you up to?
Well, first things first, I'm going to try and sell the horse that I grabbed because I have some purchases I'd like to do and need some money for that. So I'm not quite sure what the running price is for some of this quality, but this horse is too big for me to ride long term on anyways, so it's really just paying for horse feed.
Yep, you have 2 options that you can decide to go to. You can go to the Farming Collective.
Okay.
Your other option is somebody who would definitely buy it from you. Probably. Maybe. The Blackburn Cattle Company.
Mighty familiar looking brand on the back of this here horse.
Did you check it for markings?
Yeah, can I just double check? Do I know if there's anything that like brands the horse or something that would indicate its ownership prior to, or is it just unmarked? Is any weird smells?
Somebody done filed the serial numbers off of this thing.
You do see that it has a brand on the back that looks like 2 B's kind of interlaced.
Uh-huh. Great. How permanent are brands? Like, would a cure light wounds perhaps
It would take a restoration, a lesser restoration at least.
fresh out of that?
Just turn it into a smiley face. Just like the bees, the eyeballs, and then do a little smiley, like little tongues.
Kind of like coming home with an F and turning it into an A or a B.
Okay, hold on. I have a different idea. So I'm just gonna try and brand on top of it. So all I need is a piece of metal and I can heat it up with, any number of spells that I got at my disposal. Is there anything that looks around like just a nail on the ground, like a road spike or something?
You see a thrown horseshoe that has some of the nails still stuck out of it.
Where are you doing this?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I am gonna go to the bottom left where there's some rocks by the clock tower, away from prying eyes.
Okay.
And I am going to get a bit of cloth, wrap my hand around it. I will cast something silent.
That's not good for a bard.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. I have a spell called Ear-Piercing Scream, which I know what you're thinking. But it is silent to everyone but the target. So, using my fiddle, I can convert any type of damage into fire damage. So, would you say I could ear-piercing scream the needle to get it hot enough to brand the horse?
I thought you were going to set the horse on fire for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
I will say yes,
Okay.
but you will still roll damage on it.
Okay.
And to be able to get the brand long enough so that you can actually make the change that you want, you're going to take half the damage that you can do.
That's fair. I will go ahead and roll that.
So take 6 damage.
And I will go over the Blackburn mark and make a little frog.
Okay, make a linguistics check
Okay.
with I'll say a +2 bonus for what you're doing.
Ew. Not the best artist.
Okay, it's a pretty rough looking frog, but
Okay.
you never know. Maybe somebody will buy it if they're drunk enough.
Got it. If that's the case, where do you think I would get the most money out of this? At the Blackburns or at the other location?
You can roll a knowledge local.
Okay. Pretty good.
Okay, yeah, with an 18, I will say you can surmise that you'll probably get a better price from the Blackburns,
Okay.
but they're more likely to recognize the issue with this. But you would be more likely to get somebody in the farming collective who either doesn't care or doesn't notice.
Okay. Well, I have a 15 bonus to my bluff, so I think we're gonna go to the Blackburns and see how much money we can make off this.
I like the cut of your jib.
You make your way north, all the way up to the Blackburn Cattle Company. This is honestly the nicest looking building that you have seen in town. You're not sure how, but it looks brand new. And as you step inside, you see an interesting tableau. You see a elf who is dressed very similarly to Helen. Same kind of coat, same purple colors. He has this very tanned skin, clearly very impressed with his appearance. He's taken the time to take a razor and actually shave his beard weirdly. It's a weird look.
Yeah.
And what's most striking is he has a very large scar that appears to be like a magic scar over his right eye.
Okay.
He's smoking a big cigar, and there's a young half-elf woman sitting on his knee, and he's playing with her hair, looking very bored, as the 3 other figures in this room are talking with him. One is a Nagafolk in a white suit who looks strikingly similar to Leighton. Slightly different, but not quite. And then 2 men who are wearing large shields on their chest. One is an older gentleman with his hair slicked back, wearing a blue long coat with a small blue scarf. He has a lantern that he's carrying next to him and a 6-iron at his hip, talking in a very calm voice. The other is another older gentleman holding a shotgun, smoking a cigarette with a gray vest and a suit, and he's basically yelling at the Naga, saying, "They should have been here 2 days ago. And now you're telling me that we have no idea where we are because you gave the fucking sheriff our tracking gem. That's what you're telling me." Well, yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. But that doesn't seem to be... I don't care what you think. You're just a stupid railroad lackey when we're the ones out there trying to do all of the work. As soon as you step in, Moz, the entire room just goes silent. The board creaks a little bit.
Gentlemen, am I interrupting?
The Naga turns to you and says, I'm not interrupting anything. Sorry, are you looking for Blackburn's a business, or are you looking for the railroad? Unfortunately, we're having to share an office for a little bit, and Blackburn is sitting there and says, oh, what's the matter, Wilmington? You don't like dealing with me and my family? Why, little old Jesse, and he points at himself. He's clearly speaking in the third person. Jesse doesn't care for that, you know. Jesse's giving you the run of this place, and it's not very neighborly of you. Wilmington says, no, we're very appreciative, Jesse. You know, Terrence and Clarence and I are very happy.
Well, as far as who I'm here to do business with, I suppose it doesn't matter whether it be the Blackburns or the railroad. I'm looking for the person with the deepest pockets interested in getting a nice new horse over here.
Jesse stands up and says, I suppose I'm the one you want to be talking about that, buddy. He pats the half-elf girl on the butt as she gets up and goes to the back, a little skittishly. Why don't you three take your arguing out of here? Go get a drink or something. I'm tired of all this bullshit. Alright, show me what you got. The three begin to file out. Clarence, the one who's been yelling throughout all this, starts up again at Wilmington.
Well, if you join me outside, I can show you exactly what I'm telling you.
Alright. He actually bites off the end of his cigar.
Ew!
Yeah.
Chews it up a little bit, spits it on the ground.
As you do.
Now, what I got here is a genuine battle-trained horse ready for action. You can't get none finer than this.
He sniffs a little and says, now. And he places a hand on your shoulder, little roughly. Little fella, if we're doing business, you know there's things that need to be done in a certain way. What's your name, Buster?
That'd be Moz.
Moz. Ooh, Jesse likes that Moz. Like mozzarella. Mozzarella, like cheese spread over. Mozzarella's good. You want some mozzarella?
That's what it's short for, you're right.
Oh. Your mother named you after cheese. Or your pappy. Oh, your pappy's probably... Did he make pizzas? Heard about this thing. My daddy once got us a pizza all the way from Italy. Great place. Wish they would catch on here.
Imagine it would be cold then.
Sorry, you were telling me about a horse, I believe?
Yeah, it's right here.
Horse. Let's take a look. See what you have as far as horses go.
It's got good, strong legs.
Strong legs. Yes, we like strong legs. Good, strong. He leans in and starts examining a little bit. He gives a little bit of a smile. He looks at the very recent scarring. Oh. He picks at the rest of the scarring, which obviously causes the horse some discomfort.
No.
Hey, now.
Touching a fresh wound.
No.
What's that for?
Ah, you see. Jesse sees something here. Something that's not looking good for you, little mozzie boy. Marzipan. Little marzipan. Because you see, this right here, this is a recent addition. Poorly rendered at that.
Wow, you're mighty observant, you are. In fact, I just finished rebranding that this morning.
Oh, you did the rebranding, huh? Yes, that's interesting because I'll notice that the brand on this happens to be the same one as the one I got on me. And he rolls up his sleeve, and you actually see on his left arm, he has the exact same brand that you just saw, like, in his skin.
Ah! Funny that, but you see, there's one critical detail. If you look here, And Maz points to the back. See, this is not that symbol. This belonged to my buddy Buster Dan. And Buster Dan got shot on the way over here. And that's what the B's for. So it's a bit difficult to see underneath all the scarring and whatnot, but I figured since good old Buster, my good compadre, fell so dearly that I would take it upon myself to take care of his horse for him. But after I finished branding, I realized that I don't quite have the funds to feed 2 horses, and as you can tell, a horse of this stature is not quite adequate for someone of my particular size.
He leans down, sitting right next to you, and make a bluff check.
Oh!
That is a nat 20.
That's a nat 20 plus 15, baby! Wow!
This person now exists.
He lives.
I'm dying.
He's real.
Poor Buster Dan. Left this world too soon.
Jesse looks you deep in the eye, those deep brown elven eyes, these pools that you feel like you're just getting lost in. And he smirks and says, Jesse likes that. Jesse likes that a lot. It's gonna be tough to rebrand. Might have to cut the whole haunch off. Go ahead and do some more healing on that, but we can do that. Of course, the expense that's gonna drive down the price a little bit. For all this business, I suppose I can offer you, he scratches his neck a little bit. I can offer you $40 for this kind of creature.
$40 for a genuine, battle-trained horse with strong legs? Son, this ain't my first rodeo. In fact, I've had several rodeos under my belt. I will not settle for anything less than $100.
What's your CMB right now? CMD.
Oh no.
CMD, 16.
He grabs you by the front of your jacket and just lifts you up till you're his height. Looks you dead in the eye and says, 50, and that's as high as I'll go. We got a deal?
I'd be careful where you're putting your hands. 75, or I'm walking.
He drops you on the ground. You know what? You see him start to reach towards his hip. But he stops about halfway there. Says, you know what? I like you. Mazpam. Mazabor.
Do we have a deal?
We'll settle on 75, and because of the expense that I'm gonna have to go to taking care of this, take off $10 from that. 65 to you. Deal?
Fine.
He holds out his hand, and from his pocket, he pulls out 65 and tosses it on the ground.
Heck.
Have a good day, son. Hope you enjoy our little town. Hope you don't run into any trouble there. Wouldn't want anybody to rat you out. He starts to lead the horse away.
Pleasure doing business.
Everybody who is upstairs, give me a perception check.
22.
25.
20.
There was nobody below 20 on that. Coming down the street, you hear a loud ruckus. As you look outside the window, you see the same people that I described earlier. A man in a gray jacket with a shield yelling at a naga, with a third person with another shield walking, and they're heading towards the inn.
I think we're about to have unwanted company.
You hear some voices coming from downstairs. You hear some steps creaking, and you hear a knock on the door.
What the?
Come in! We're all decent.
You extend the invitation.
I can't tell if he's fucking with us.
All the vampires walk in. Thank you very much for the invitation.
You see the same three people that I described before, the loud shouty one, the snake folk that looks a lot like Leighton, and the older taciturn one. Two of them are wearing the shields, the other has a very finely crafted pocket watch. The loud shouty one goes, Avery, about damn time. Do you know how long we've had to wait in this ass crack of a town? Gods above, this is the worst place.
Oh, damn it, friends of Avery, go back out!
The guy holds up his middle finger at all of you. All right, we're taking over this damn investigation because Hodges is absolutely horseshit. You all are late. And the final guy puts a hand out and says, Clarence, relax for 1 minute. Let's hear them out, see what they have to say. The Naga says, yes, I'm very interested to hear what you've seen and heard, and any news from my cousin Leighton, if he has anything.
Well, I'd be happy to hand him over to you if you can show me a warrant. You do have a warrant, do you?
All three of them look between each other and say, a warrant? We hold a bounty over him, and we've been wanting to collect on it for quite some time. He's going to be taken in and tried and found guilty and hung by the neck until he is dead.
Well, you should have been the one who caught him and cooked him here then. I'm sorry, I wish I could help you, but possession is 9/10 of the law.
He's working his jaw a little bit in frustration. Terrence leans against the wall. He seems to be the much more calm of the three and says, they're right. You guys, we need to produce a little letter for them, a letter of writ. Well, I don't have the damn letter of writ. What about you? Do you have it? It's not my job to handle that, Clarence, as you've repeatedly told me time and again.
Hold on, we're 2 days late and you're not ready to receive us or your prisoner?
Wilmington says, no, we're perfectly ready to accept him. We didn't expect that you would be looking for all of this official business, especially when you have... And Avery just says, trust me, you do not want to know all of the bullshit that they have put me through on this trip for what should be a simple up and down.
Are you calling the law of this great country bullshit?
I'm calling the four of you who are trying to help out bullshit.
Well, I should think you'd be more interested in why we're 2 days late, because believe me, if we had to wade through any more people to get here, it, might have been even later. You don't want to try us.
Oh, it's okay, Bonesaw. Just let the dead lie.
I'd also like to point out, Avery, that it was a very, very good chance that you would not have shown up with us. Not by our fault directly.
You all shot me and tied me up.
You shot first.
You did.
Technically, I believe you shot yourself as well. That's how he got the burns all over his face.
Terrence starts coughing and just turns around into the corner. Pretty sure he's laughing. Clarence, on the other hand, looks about as apoplectic as Avery did. Gods be damned, all of you damn civilians getting in the way of us trying to execute the law.
Well, listen, I think we all know that his bow or whatever, that Vic, she can change into other people. So how are we to know that you're not his gang in disguise? We've made it this far. It's more than anyone else has managed. Perhaps you should trust our methods.
Terrence turns around and says, gotta trust the people that know what they're doing. And he reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out a warrant for the arrest of Carter Sutton and hands it over to you, Jasper, and says, I believe this is what you're looking for. Clarence glares at him and says, you couldn't have said that earlier.
I will look it over. To the best of my knowledge, I have absolutely no legal training. I've been bluffing this whole time. Does this look on the up and up to me?
Basically, it reads, this is a warrant for the arrest of Carter Sutton as contracted out to the Pinkerton Detective Agency at the request of the Southern Diamondback Railroad Company. Basically, it's a bunch of legalese saying that it is semi-officially deputizing the Pinkertons to carry out this. They've effectively been hired by the appropriate law to go and track down this bounty.
All right, so this does go back to somebody who would have the legal ability to issue a warrant for someone's arrest.
Yes, from what you can tell without any legal training, it's specifically calling out the Arizona Territory as the presiding body.
Okay.
Technically, because it's a territory, they can send rangers, they can send people, but it's easier to just hire that kind of thing out sometimes. That's basically how they're acting in this situation.
Well, then I guess the only thing that's left is to settle up. I believe that the duly appointed authorities of the law had contracted us for $500 apiece for the transport of this prisoner. We have done so unless you're willing to settle up now, we'll settle up at the railroad. You can bring along your piece of paper and can hand them over there.
Do you mind if I see it?
Sure, I'll hand it over.
Can I roll an appraise check on it?
Are you trying to detect a forgery?
Yeah, I guess.
That would be a linguistics check.
Damn. Okay, I'm not trained in linguistics.
From as far as you can tell, it seems legitimate.
Okay. Bonesaw's reading it upside down. Yes! This looks all right to me. What Jasper said. He hands it back.
Terrence says, "We'll go ahead and get you the money that we owe you." It said it was $500.
A head. There's 4 heads.
He looks between Wilmington and Clarence and says, "Y'all know anything about this?" And Wilmington says, "No, I do not. I will need to contact my cousin down in Ravenspine to make sure that this is legitimate."
Absolutely.
I assume you understand. And Clarence, still looking a bit angry, says, "As for your job is to get him onto the train that's going to Arizona. That is when you'll have completed your job. He doesn't get on that train, you don't get paid."
Then he doesn't leave our possession, because that's what we contracted for.
We're not done yet.
That's right. This is probably as safe a place as any in town. Keep him from running away.
Well, thank you for coming. This was an awful nice visit of you, right neighborly of you. Please do not remain strangers. And I begin kind of hustling them towards the door.
Oh, come see my show later.
Oh, yeah, you can't miss that show.
Terrence gives a little nod and says, "Oh, yeah, sure, I'll check it out later."
Excellent.
As they're being hustled out, Clarence turns back and says, "Hodges, come on, we gotta talk." Hodges stops and considers, looks between the three of you, looks at Carter, looks at Clarence, and says, "All right." And he is going to follow them out.
Can I do a sense motive? Is he okay?
18. I think you get the sense. Avery still doesn't trust all of you.
Fair.
But the fact that you saved him has bought you just enough line. Like, if you were trying to get Carter out, you could have left Hodges behind.
Yeah.
You can kind of get a sense that that's where his head is at right now.
But Clarence calling him to talk to him, that's not like him, like, meet me out back and I'm gonna punch the shit out of you for insubordination or anything like that. He's not, like, fearing for his life or well-being, is he?
No, you're pretty sure he's fearing for his ears because he's going to get a reaming, but...
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Bonesaw would like to pull out a little vial and say, "Myra, could you just open the door and pretend you're looking out to make sure everyone's gone? I'm not going to miss this." And he downs it and he turns invisible. See you later.
Oh, Bonesaw, I don't know what you're getting into, but please don't bring it back on me. I need to sleep tonight. She opens the door.
Great galloping sagebrush. Why did you not list that among our possibilities
That
in
is
the
a
past?
good point. We could use that.
No time. I need to go listen to Avery getting chewed out. I'll see you in a bit.
Good a use for invisibility as any I've ever heard of.
Go have fun. Take notes.
All right. Myra, you open the door a little bit, look out, you see the group making their way down. It is deadly silent as they're making their way down the stairs. Moz, you've just finished up your work with Jesse. He's led the horse back to the corral.
Moz is gonna very gracefully swoop up all the money off the ground in one grab and dump it in his pocket. He's gonna be looking for somewhere he can get both lanterns and a lot of fuses.
You get the idea that Grimstone Mining is probably more of like a broker. You bring in raw ore, they give you money for the raw ore, rather than a general store. They might have some supplies, but probably not. Your best bet for that would probably be Cumberland Supply.
Okay. I was eyeing that earlier, but I will go to Cumberland Supply then.
You approach Cumberland Supply. You go past a saloon that just sounds like the rowdiest fucking place in the world as you pass by it. You pass the Three Clops Theater, where you hear, it sounds like some arguing coming from inside, before you arrive at Cumberland Supply. You step inside, and it is just jam-packed to the gills with everything. You see mining equipment, you see knickknacks, weird gear, and random... You see a pile of gum in one area, you see just this neatly stacked pile of bullets in another, what appears to be random balls of twine hanging around. And hanging on the back wall, you see what appears to be a very strange curved sword, the likes of which you have never seen before. It starts out going straight, and then it has a major hook down and around. It almost looks like a sword and a sickle combined somehow.
Interesting.
And as you're doing this, you hear a purring
Purring.
from a cat.
Like a cat. Alright. Rodents don't like cats much. Maz is gonna be looking around, just a little bit nervous.
As you turn around, you keep going and rotating around a little bit.
Hello? Anyone in here? Trying to buy some supplies.
As you make one final rotation, you see, not where you expected to see anybody, a catfolk. With a gray fur, large blue eyes, a strange symbol in her forehead, standing right in front of you.
Ah! What was that for?
She gives a big smile and says, "Hi there. I'm Norl Potts."
Pleased to meet you.
She kind of cocks her head and goes in. "What's your name, you delicious little mouse?"
My name be Maz, and I can guarantee I'm not tasty going down the gullet. It's been quite a few days since I've had a decent shower.
She laughs and says, "Oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm not exactly one to be eating anyone." And she flexes her hand the way that cats do to show their claws, and it's very clear that she does not have any claws on that hand. It's been a long time since I've been able to do anything like that, but please come in. I'm sorry. I was making a joke. I don't socialize much.
That's apparent. Now, I'm here for two things. I need lanterns and I need twine. Can you help me out?
Lanterns and twine. Yes, I definitely have the lanterns. What kind of twine are you looking for? Are you looking for single strand, multi-strand? Are you looking for a thick cord? Are you looking for something that's able to be wrapped around? What are you thinking of lifting with it? Or are you just tying something with it? I could get you something. Ooh, you know what's, are you looking to play with it, or are you looking to use it? Because those are two different things we might need to look at.
I'd say I need a long amount of it, and I need it to be flammable.
Oh, I see. You're looking for... you're not looking for twine. You're looking for some... And she makes like a snapping motion with her fingers. And she's like, wait, no, that doesn't translate. Flint. You're looking for some flint. And something to go foom. Right? That's what you're looking for.
I suppose that those words are
Okay.
about what I'm looking for. Terribly afraid of the dark, afraid.
I can help with that. And she jumps up one pile, jumps up to another pile, and then jumps through a hole that you see is cut out in the ceiling. You hear a...
Oh my god, she's adorable.
So cute, I love her.
A lantern comes. What kind of lantern?
Something that can be protected from the wind but still open to the air.
Okay, yeah. She tosses 3 lanterns down. One she just tosses, clearly without paying attention, and it just glass everywhere on the ground. Oops,
Nah, Think you missed.
I'll clean that
I
up.
don't actually work here.
Norl hops down and she's holding a large spool of twine that she passes over to you.
About how many feet would you say that is? I need as much as I can get my hands on.
Oh, I would say it's probably... She starts counting it out and, like, using her fingers to count it. 1, 2, 3, 7, 25. Probably about 50 feet of it.
Do you have any more of those?
She considers for a second. I could, I could, no.
How about this? Throw in other similar fabrics and I'll buy a case of oil for that.
Ooh, yes. Oil. Are you looking for? Oh, sometimes I give Ellie next door. Really nice.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Just give me my supplies and I will be out of your hair.
Okay. Yes. And she rushes back up, brings a coil of just standard rope and a large jug that has an olive painted on the front of it.
Alright. Now throw in 5 lanterns and I'll give you $50 for the whole lot.
She considers for a second. Let me check my book. I'm usually not good with this kind of stuff.
Blake, a lantern is $7, so 5 would be 35.
Thank you. The special fuse, she gives you a price of 10 gold pieces for the 50 feet, and the regular rope is only 1.
Okay. So what's the total then?
46.
I'll throw in 4 extra gold pieces as a bonus.
She gives you a small little bounce. Oh, thank you. That was so kind of you. I really am sorry about the joke earlier. I didn't mean it's yeah.
No worries. Get yourself something nice.
Thanks. She smiles a little bit.
Now, close down for the night. It's gonna be a long one.
Okay, and she looks out the window at the clock tower that she can see. It's only like 10 in the morning.
Then it's gonna be a long day.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Come again soon?
My pleasure. Boz is gonna go out the door and he's gonna get to work. He is anticipating an ambush. After his talk with the sheriff, he is 90% certain that there's gonna be a attack at some point, and he is going to do his best to prepare. How tall would you say the clock tower is?
With the roof, probably 50 feet. 40 feet to like the faces, and then another 10 feet up.
Okay. Could I just take the stairs to the top, or would I need
Yep.
to use a rope to climb up? Oh, I can just take the stairs?
Yep, you can take the
Cool.
stairs. You can go straight
Alright.
up.
I have essentially created a perimeter around the town that is a bunch of lanterns.
Let's talk afterwards. We'll draw on the map where everything is and get that
I'm
set.
very excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. So Moz will be on lookout from the clock tower.
Jasper and Myra. It's just you two.
Yeah.
With Carter.
I have an appointment I need to make, but I do not want to leave only one of us here
Sorry.
with Carter. There's no knowing what those other folks are going to be up to. So I'll wait till either Maz or Bones gets back.
I think it'll be okay, because, we've already made an agreement, and if he tries to, go back on us, then, that's no deal from us, but I think he'll keep put for now, but if you want to sit around.
You sure about that? Because I trust those fellas about as much as I'd trust a scorpion in my boot.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, it's up to you.
All right, then. Well, I won't be long.
Okay. Yeah. If you hear gunshots, it's me.
You're the only one I know who would, I suppose.
Yep. There's no one else could ever have a gun or shoot a gun in this world ever. It's only me.
Guns. Well, I won't be too far away. I'm only going across the block. I'm going to head out of number 29, out onto the street, take a right, cross the corner to number 19, Silent Joe's Grocer.
As you approach, you see this just ancient-looking Apache Native American sitting on the front stoop. As he's doing, you see just this regular old cowboy go in, give Silent Joe a bit of a nod, step inside, picks up a few things, some groceries, and then tosses a couple of coins into a basket at Silent Joe's feet. Silent Joe is sitting there. He has this very long pipe that he's smoking out of. He smokes a little, takes it back, looks around a little, studying the area.
I will walk up to him. Does he also look as if he suffers from the same affliction what I do?
As you get closer, yeah, you can definitely see his face is a little bit gaunt. His eyes are milky. From your experience, you know that doesn't mean he's blind, probably. It just means that he's likely undead. Honestly, he shares a lot of your same leathery skin style. You get a sense that part of the reason he probably smokes so much is a bit of a preservative factor.
Alrighty. I'm going to walk up to him and I am going to say in Apache, "Are you Joe who speaks not?"
He very slowly turns. There's a loud kind of creaking and cracking as he turns his head. And he returns in Apache. Huh. Not too many in this town know that language.
Well, I owe my life to a fella of your kin. Fella named Tacklesham. Gray one.
Tacklesham?
But I'm looking for a fella by the name of Natan.
Ah, Natan. Yes, he is... he is a bit of a, shall we say, troublemaker in these parts. I use that word in jest. He is a young fellow, and he sometimes acts before he has time to think, which has gotten him in trouble with the law here before.
Well, that ain't no crime, or we'd all be guilty of it at one time or t'other.
That is the truth. What business do you have with him?
He sent me a note asking if he would like to meet with me.
A note?
We have the Gray One as a friend in common, I guess. I have no idea, but he saved me from a spot of trouble out on the trail indirectly. So I'm willing to make the meeting. He said that if I came and saw you, you'd be able to tell me how to find him. Here, just in case you're at all nervous here or hesitant, I will pull out the note, which I assume is written in some fashion that can be deciphered by an Apache speaker.
He takes it and reaches out with one of his gnarled hands. You see he's missing his ring finger as he takes the piece of paper and he reads it over and he says, this does seem to be Natan's work. And he helped you out on the trail, you say?
Well, so to speak, we were being stalked by a fella of ill intent, and let's just say that fella never reached us in any condition that would allow him to do us any harm.
Interesting.
Yeah, nasty piece of work. Gnoll worked for the railroad as a sort of a, I don't know, all-around bad guy, I guess.
I will talk to Natan and let him know of your interest in meeting with him. It may be a few days before he has a chance to come into the town. I want to make sure that he understands the proper rules. Is that acceptable? Will you be in town for a few days?
I sure hope so. I'm over at Gray's Hotel in Bordello at the moment. I haven't seen a single board for sale, though. I'm not sure what...
if you want boards, you should go and talk to the carpenter just north of us.
Yeah, well, I think that'd probably be a better idea. But anyway, I'm at the hotel right now, here on, I hope, a totally unrelated business. And if I can stay in town, I will. However, if I do have to leave town, I'll try and get word to you where I can be found.
Very well. Oh, and one last thing.
Yeah.
He holds out a pouch of tobacco. Want some? Very good, you.
Oh, bless the stars. Yes, I would. Thank you very much.
What was your name? I don't believe I caught it.
Jasper Graves.
Wonderful to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too here. I hear tell that you've been here longer than just about any other person in the vicinity?
That is true. I found myself in this current state about 70 years ago, after some unfortunate incidents. But that is the past, and, well...
I look at him in frank astonishment. 70 years?
That is true.
I've only been this way for a few myself. I had no idea. How do you... If you don't mind my asking, how do you stay so well preserved?
He considers for a second and says, "It has been difficult. I've lost much of what the old me was.
Yeah.
But you find one or two truly precious things to you, and you hold on to them. That's what keeps you going."
Well, sir, I'd be weeping right now if I could. 'Cause that means more to me than you could know. Yeah. I do have one more question. I don't know if you have any idea about this, but you ain't heard tell of no band of no good, downright polecat pieces of work what go identify themselves by a scorpion tattoo on the back of the hand? They took something precious to me.
He considers for a second and says, "I don't believe so. I apologize."
Well, they took something precious to me, something very much like what you described that I would very much like returned. So if you do hear anything, and I'm still in town, I'd appreciate the heads up on that. Anything I can do for you?
Not at the moment, but I appreciate. You may call me Jolan.
Jolan.
Take care, Jasper.
You too. And I look forward to meeting this Natan.
Carter has been sitting in the corner ever since y'all arrived, and he opens up one of the drawers and pulls out a pencil and a pad of paper, and he starts sketching. "Myra, you know, this is just about the perfect opportunity for us.
What do you reckon?
I give you a good shiner, and nobody has to know that you let me go."
Damn it, Carter, just save it. And she gets up and she pulls out a map and she spreads it out on a table and she starts like drawing lines on the map. She goes, "This is way, 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 way more trouble than I thought it was gonna be. I lost something very precious to me. And I know, I get it, you're out to save your skin, but quite frankly, I don't want to be making any more deals with you. We already have a deal, we have a plan, so let's just stick to it."
Can't blame a stallion for wanting to save his own hide, can he?
Carter, I ask this in the most respectful way I can, but how have you convinced yourself that your life is worth more than the ones that you've killed? And I'm genuinely asking, because I figure at some point it's gotta bug you.
First 5 did. Quite a bit. Hell, even the first 10. After that, it starts to become them. I justified it as, in most of those cases, it was them or me.
She kind of looks down at the map. Do you think maybe there's a way for people like us to, I don't know, do something good to make up for everything? Maybe. I know we've done a lot of... I'm not yelling at you because I think you're somehow beneath me. The problem is I think I see a lot of myself in you. But I want something more than that. And I think the more deals that you're making, I don't think you like this lifestyle either. I know you want to just be done and be free and be able to do what you want to do, but at some point, enough is enough, and I'm genuinely asking, how do you know when it's enough?
He gives a bit of a sad smile and says, Myra, darling, I knew it was enough years ago. I felt it in my bones. Some young colt got it in his head that he was going to challenge Carter. Carter's son, fastest gun in the West, to a duel. I shot that kid dead. Couldn't have been more than 18. But damn, it was the slowest draw I've ever had. I pulled that gun out and he actually got a shot off. It went wide. He was a lousy shot. But it was a slow draw. I knew I was starting to feel my age at that point. All this is set dressing. I need to make them know that they won. And I'm not going to make it easy for them. I'm not going to turn myself in, no. I'm going to make legends of this here West. And I'm going to do everything in my power to escape. I will shoot, I will stab, I will kill. But I'll always take the easiest path to get there. Right now, the easiest path is trying to make deals, offering you $1,000 that Vic will be carrying with her to let me out. I know you're not going to go for that. I can see it in your eyes. At this point, you think that me suffering is what I deserve. You think that me suffering gives you a chance to save something in yourself.
Well, damn, reading me like a book.
I hope that you sleep better at night knowing that I'm going to hang from that scaffold.
I meant it when I said that the law is not always right, and what if I could offer you a deal instead of you offering me one? What if you and I can do something right if you help me trick the railroad into going off elsewhere, saving that area and giving my memory back? I will walk out of this room. I will do anything to get that memory back. So, how about we play on my terms this time? And maybe I can get some sort of closure. Maybe you can have some sort of good done in your life. Maybe.
Carter stops sketching. And how do you propose that little old me, somebody who's a bit on the rough side with the railroad, makes a deal?
Myra looks at Carter, spreads out the map, points at a location, says, all we need to do is convince them there's something better that they're missing out on.
We fade out away from Perdition. We see the three Pinkertons and the railway folk walking down the street, unaware of their tale. We see Jasper talking with Silent Joe. We see Moz climbing up the clock tower, getting ready to enact his plan. And some distance away, several miles out of town, we see sitting on a ridge overlooking Kitsune, surrounded by outlaws and brigands.
Dust and Blood is a Rolling Path production featuring Corinne Hill as Myra Sting, Blake Alfson as our GM, Zach Parker as Moz Copernicus Pryor, Keith Curtis as Jasper Graves, and myself, Gail Parker, as Bonesaw. Our theme song is Dust and Blood by Arne Parrott, and other music throughout this recording is provided by Kevin Macleod, Tabletop Audio, Dark Fantasy Studios, and the Desperados 3 original game soundtrack by Filippo Beck Peccoz. Transcripts, detailed sound credits, and more can be found on our website at dustandbloodpod.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Dust and Blood Pod, or support us through our Patreon at Dust and Blood. where you can join our community Discord and get perks like our behind-the-scenes discussion show, The Roundup. We're so grateful for the support of our fans, people like Barbara, Saru, Haz, and Hyland. We have released the entire first arc of our show, as well as 2 bonus content episodes, The Bank Job, a same-universe one-off with different characters, and a Roundup episode where we answer listener questions about the show. You can expect new content to drop on April 1st. Content warnings can be found in every episode description, and we hope you enjoy exploring this fantasy western with us. Thanks for listening.
My eyes shoot open to the early morning sun. I feel that aching, pounding, poking of a bullet in my lungs. Skinny ceiling, bones crunching. I feel that wretched ancient something drag me up to face that coward son of a gun. His face grows wide as he fumbles for his holster. I feel the lead pierce my shoulder, neck, and chest. I scream that I have died 100 times and lived 1,000 years, and I'll be damned if a boy like you's gonna be the best. Yes, I'll be damned if a boy like you is gonna be the best.
Let's see if this is the right song that I'm looking for.
No, that's All the Single Ladies by Beyonce.
You say that, but I'm pretty sure we have that in there somewhere.
It would make
Somewhere
a great saloon song. I'm sorry, it really would.
Terrence and Clarence and I are very happy.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
The rhymingness of them sent me over. Sorry, go ahead.